EQ is being able to sense and respond to the emotions of the people around us. It's how you know if someone likes you or secretly dislikes you, or if your girlfriend is mad at you even though she says she's fine. And in 1967, psychologist Albert Mehrabian was researching this exact problem, the EQ part, not the girlfriend part, and the result was the 738-55 rule. It's a simple framework that can help us figure out exactly how someone feels about us, way increasing our EQ so we build relationships with the right people. If you're new here, I'm Sanjeev. I'm a cognitive scientist looking for evidence-based ways to communicate and connect with the people in our lives. Today, we're breaking down all three parts of the 738-55 rule for higher EQ, the research behind it, and how we can start using it right now to get a better read on every relationship we have. 738-55 is essentially a percentage split. Dr. Mehrabian's research found that when we're deciding how someone feels about us, we give 7%, 38%, and 55% importance to three specific areas of communication. Let's start with the 7%, verbal cues. These are the actual words that someone uses in conversation. And the first thing that stands out is how small 7% is. We usually place so much weight on what someone says, but Dr. Mehrabian's research has it at just 7% of what someone's actually feeling. And some of these verbal cues are very straightforward. In conversation, does this person ask how we're doing? Are they supportive when we share our problems? Do they give us compliments, or do they put us down? But on the other hand, some verbal cues are tough to decode. Think of passive aggression, like, I was just kidding, can't you take a joke? Or even backhanded compliments like, oh, you're so strong, for an Indian, for a woman, you fill in the blank. These are both situations where some words seem positive and sincere, but the remaining words reveal the actual motive, to stab us in the back Caesar style. Caesar the emperor, not the salad. Honestly, also the salad. It's a pretty passive-aggressive salad. And this 7% also explains why texting kinda sucks and leads to so much miscommunication. It's because over text, all we have are the verbal cues. We don't have access to the 38 or the 55, the remaining 93% that actually reveals how someone feels about us. Which brings us to a more important category, the 38%. Vocal cues. Vocal and verbal sound similar, I know, but they're completely different in the information they reveal about a person. Verbal cues are the words you use, but vocal cues are how you say them. Things like tone of voice or the pitch of our sentences. And there's tons of crazy interesting research about what these cues can mean. A study from 2010 found that both men and women use a lower pitched voice when talking to someone they find attractive. You know what I mean? Another study looked at tone of voice, also called prosody, and it found that when someone's talking to us, their tone changes our memory of what they said. So for example, if someone says a word in a sad tone of voice, we're gonna remember that they said something negative, even if the actual words weren't sad at all. These vocal cues are why our parents love phone calls. Texting only gets verbal cues, but a phone call gets you the extra 38% from vocal cues. In total, a 45% summary of how someone feels about us. And the most important piece of the puzzle is the 55. Facial cues. This is the crux of Dr. Mehrabian's research, that our facial expressions say more about us than our words and our tone combined. And we learn how to decode this facial information from a very young age. Research from 2016 found that even 4-year-old children can distinguish genuine smiles from fake smiles. They can tell how the person's actually feeling. Psychologists have also studied micro-expressions. These are brief, involuntary flashes of a real emotion. They usually happen when someone's lying or trying to conceal how they're really feeling, but these micro-expressions are so easy to notice when we're looking for them. This is what makes video calling great. You get verbal, vocal, and facial cues all at once. It's the closest to simulating what you get from a conversation in person. The 738-55 rule comes with two huge takeaways that'll change our social life and how we approach any conversation. The first takeaway is a clear understanding of what's actually important. I'm a pretty serial overthinker, okay? Especially if it's with people I've just met. I'll be thinking about if I was too funny, too awkward, just everything. And it's pretty natural. We overthink because we're nervous, and we're nervous because we care about people. We care about what they think of us. But overthinking isn't helpful unless there's a structure to it. And the 738-55 numbers make a huge difference. If someone has a genuine smile and a kind tone, but then says something that sounds neutral, I shouldn't be fixating on that 7% when the 38 and the 55 were so solid. And our second takeaway is thinking about what cues we use, how we come across to the people in our lives. Now that we know about the 738-55, we need to make sure our words, our tone, and our face are aligned with who we are, how we really feel. And this video breaks down 4 combos of verbal, vocal, and facial cues, 4 different vibes, so that we can be an effortless communicator while staying true to who we are. We'll talk soon.